Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Stuff. I'm here with Dustin, and I'm Tyler, as always. This topic, we are going to be talking about movies that we've seen that we feel not enough people have seen.
Yeah, you
Pretty
may.
much like,
Yeah, you may not have seen them. We're kind of doing a public service, like movies that you probably haven't seen, but you might. If you haven't, you definitely should see them.
yeah, exactly what he said. I'll let you start off. Should we do three at a time or just one each? And then
One each and ping pong back and forth.
ready to do three. Oh, man.
So, my first one is one that a lot of people may have seen. It came out in like 2001 or two. It's called Frailty. It stars Matthew McConaughey, Powers Booth, and Bill Paxton. And it's like the whole movie's told through flashbacks, and it's like about the single dad with two boys between like 12 and 10 or something like that, around that time. They're around that age. It's set in the 70s in Texas, and everything's fine. They have a nice life, and all of a sudden in the middle of the night, the dad comes in. It's based upon a Stephen King short story. So anyways, one random night the dad comes in the kid's room in the middle of the night and says, "Kids, you have to listen," like dead serious. He says, "I had a vision. I spoke with God, and he wants us to be his warriors," or something like that. He wants us to hunt down evil. And like the kids are like, "What?" Okay, like it's the middle of the night, they're disoriented. And basically the dad explains that there's demons living on Earth that are like disguised as people. And like the little brother believes them, and the older brother like obviously doesn't believe him because that's like ridiculous. So he tells them that like they're gonna find like these magical weapons to help them in their battle. And throughout the movie, like everything starts happening, and the dad starts like murdering people. Like and then it keeps going back between like flashbacks and present day, where Matthew McConaughey's an adult and he plays one of the kids, and he's telling the story like he knows who the killer's called, the God's Hand Killer. And he's like, "I know who it is." So he's like, "Well, tell me about it." So he's like, the whole movie's like him telling the story. It's really good. I think it got pretty decent reviews when it came out, and it made okay money. It probably like broke even kind of thing, but it's actually really good. It's like a fun movie. It's got kind of a twist at the end.
I've never seen it. I don't even think I've seen clips of it before.
You should seriously. Yeah, I think you'll like it.
When did it come out?
Like 2002-ish, something like that.
I don't know. I was alive, so I don't remember. One of mine is a movie called State of Play. Came out. I have all that information down here, so if I look like an idiot, came out in 2009. I know, right? It's a good movie. It's got Russell Crowe in it. It's got Batman, Ben Affleck in it. It's got what's her name? She was in Doctor Strange. Amy McAdams. Is that it?
Maybe.
I don't know. Whatever. And it also has Jason Bateman, one of my favorite actors, personally. It's a political thriller. It's about this like newspaper writer, pretty much. I have everything written down here because I'm bad at remembering things. Pretty much, it's a congressman played by Ben Affleck, and it has to do with this assassination of someone that he worked for, or she worked for him, actually. But it's really good. It's a good thriller, a good political thriller. I'm not going to go into too much detail because my memory's like shit.
Is it like twists and stuff? Or
yeah, there's a lot of plot twists and stuff. It's just a very good like political thriller. Probably one of the best political thrillers in a while.
Does it like favor one side or the other? Or is it kind of straight down the middle, like androgynous like evil senator or evil people? Even if
it's been a while since I watched it.
Is it at least not like bad? I guess. Like, I mean, it could bash one side or the other, but is it like over the top? Obviously, it's not,
it's not over the top. It's just a very like you just have to watch it. You have to watch it if you haven't seen it. I don't know how it did, like theater wise. If a lot of people went. I know it got good reviews. Yeah, but I don't think a lot of people saw it. It's really good though.
I worked at the movie theater, and during that time, I watched literally everything that came out, and I did not watch that one. I don't remember why. I don't think it looked particularly good, but I remember even back then, because he worked there too. He said it looked good, and I was like, I'll watch it. I never got around to seeing it.
It's good if you're into that type of stuff. It's not like super hard on the politics. It's more on conspiracy, yeah, and stuff like that. It's really good though. I definitely recommend it.
Cool. My second one is The Hunted, and it's not the one starring Tommy Lee Jones and Benicio del Toro, where he's hunting down like the knife killer fighter guy. This is 1995. And it stars Christopher Lambert, yes, the guy who played Raiden in the Mortal Kombat movies. Now, I should say that disclaimer: this movie has a 6% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's one of the rare movies about ninjas, and I love ninjas. The story is kind of weird. This businessman goes to Japan, and he meets this woman, has a one-night stand with her. Turns out the woman was to be targeted to be assassinated by this infamous ninja assassin who's never been seen before. So he has this one-night stand with the woman, and she knows the assassination is coming. So she's like, "Oh, you gotta leave now." And he's like, "Oh, I didn't understand." She's like, "Just leave." So he leaves. As soon as he leaves, the ninjas come in to kill her, and he realizes he has the wrong room key because they're staying in the same hotel. He goes in there, sees her get killed, and then he sees the ninja's face. No one's ever seen this guy's face because she's like, "Oh, you're a coward. You're gonna kill a woman. I at least want to see your face before you do it." So he takes his mask off, and he kills her, but he walks in and sees it. So he tells his lackeys to go kill him, and they slice him up pretty good and throw poison ninja star in him and kill. They think they kill him, but he ends up, long story short, he ends up surviving. Where the kind of a cool twist comes in, there's this samurai guy. This is set in modern day also. So the samurai guy, he hears about it from one of the doctors at the hospital, his friend. He says, this guy saw this guy's face. And so he comes in, and the whole thing is he wants to settle this old blood feud with the ninja clan. And so he wants to use him as a pawn, as a trap or whatever. So eventually he convinces him to come to this island where he's kind of holds him as a prisoner. And obviously the main character gets pissed off. But there's this swordsmith guy who's this old drunk, kind of comic relief guy. He ends up teaching the main character how to fight. And at the end, there's this giant battle between samurai and ninjas, and it's a pretty sweet movie. It's obviously nothing groundbreaking, but it's a pretty cool movie. You have to kind of turn your brain off and just enjoy it.
So, how much did you get for them to make your life story?
$7.
That sounds like a 6% Rotten Tomato movie.
No, it's not a great movie, but I like it. And if you kind of like action movies, especially ninja movies or samurai movies, it's good. I kind of watched it recently. It's not as good as I remember it, but there's a really cool scene on a train. It's just at least, if anything, YouTube the Hunted 1995 train scene. If you like that, you probably like watch the movie.
Never seen it, never heard of it. I haven't even heard of the other Hunted movie. My second movie is Hard Boiled, which is a John Woo movie from the late 80s or early 90s. I don't remember one of those. I actually didn't know about this movie until this game called Stranglehold came out. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
And it was basically a sequel to this movie, and I was like, this game is badass. I'm going to watch this movie. And to me, and he's not going to agree with me, I know you like the movie.
Yeah.
But I literally think it's probably one of the best 80s, 90s action movies I've ever seen. So good. Nothing but violence and action, but the story is actually really good. And the plot is pretty much this method makes the most perfect hard-boiled eggs ever. Wrong one. Stupid joke.
Horrible joke.
I had to do it.
You can turn the video off now.
It's about a cop who loses his partner in a shootout with gun smugglers. Crazy. Got shot.
That never happens in action movies.
And he goes on a mission to catch them. In order to get closer to the leaders of the ring, he joins forces with an undercover cop who's working as a gangster hitman. They use all the means of excessive force to find them. Typical 90s plot right there, but it's actually a really good story, I think, for a 90s action movie.
It fits right in. The thing I want to see about I love John Woo. I prefer Hard Target better, maybe because I'm just more used to it.
But we all know Face Off is better than Hard Target.
No, that's not true, dude. Hard Target's awesome. Sorry, go ahead.
And this movie does it literally tells its story in the action. That's how much action it is. It serves a nonstop, but it's so damn good. And there's a little thing on YouTube that has this metal soundtrack going on, but it's this clips of the movie and it's just nonstop shit blowing up and people getting shot. I think the hospital scene at the end, literally he kills 300 people on that scene.
The hospital scene is actually legendary in Hollywood. It's a one long continuous shot, and if you see it and you realize that this is one shot and they didn't do cuts, it's very, very impressive. It's probably the most impressive visual thing I've seen on a movie. Maybe Children of Men, because I think they did a similar action shot at the end of that movie, but I think this is better because it looks better.
They do that stuff all the time now. I even know Daredevil had a scene like that in a hallway where it's like one Canadian. They do it now all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of a theme now, but I mean, I could be wrong. This was kind of like one of the original ones, at least. It may not be the first one, but it was. This scene is legendary. Like, look it up. It's really awesome.
And I can't say like nobody's seen it or it wasn't a popular movie. It might have been back then, but I still don't think a lot of people.
I've always been an action connoisseur, and I missed it until I was an adult. But that doesn't really necessarily mean anything. But I don't remember anyone ever really talking about it. But I definitely heard people talk about it. But
now, if you want to see Dustin get mad, I'll say this: it's better than Die Hard.
That's just not true.
It's totally
well,
true.
You know what? It might be true. I don't know. I need to rewatch it, but I don't think it's true. I think Die Hard is top notch. Die Hard, Predator, Hard Target. Hard Target's very underrated too, but that's not one of my three. Anyways, yeah. Any more on?
No, it's just like, watch it. It's so good.
It is really good. I need to watch it again.
I don't think they might have a dubbed version for you people that don't like to read subtitles
or don't know how to read.
But it is a foreign movie. But it doesn't really seem like one, if that makes sense. It's very. If you've seen an Arnold Schwarzenegger '90s action movie, it's the same thing, but they're Asian.
Yeah, it speaks the universal language: violence.
It's good. Go watch it. It's awesome. Even my girlfriend, I made her watch, and she liked it.
So yeah, it is good. So my third one, and this one is another one that people may have seen. It came out, I think, 2003. It's Open Range. It's a Western. It has Kevin Costner and Robert Duvall, and I don't remember that it plays a. There's a star from the late 80s, really big guy, real big burly. I can't remember his name, but he's in it too. It's basically about these free grazers grazing in like Wyoming or something like that. And basically, they start grazing on this cattle rancher's land. He's like some evil asshole, obviously. And they're out there, and they send one of their hands to go into town to get some supplies. And he doesn't come back on time, so they go to investigate. They find out that this rancher's men like roughed him up and like basically beat him to within an inch of his life. And so they go in there and confront them. And there's this like big thing, like the cattle rancher's like, "Hey, stay off my land," kind of thing. And they go back and forth. It's the dialogue in the movie is like pretty like over the top, but it's real like the movie's real slow and kind of subtle, but it's kind of like very stereotypical. It's good. It's not bad. Like the scenery is beautiful. Anyways, they get their man out of jail and they come back, and they're just gonna do what they want. They don't leave the guy's land, so they send some people to bushwhack him, and so they end up killing the big guy and then like almost mortally wounding the young guy. And basically the whole movie boils up to this. There's like a theme of like the free grazing thing. It was like legal, but this guy didn't want him on our land. It builds up to this like gunfight of the main two characters, Robert Duvall and Kevin Costner, versus like 40 guys. It's a really good gunfight. And it's a decent movie. It's solid. It got decent ratings, and you may have seen it, but it's good. It's a good quality newer Western. There's not a whole lot of those.
Also, for all three of your movies, I have not seen.
Which tells me you should watch all three of them.
Or I've heard of. I've heard of the first one, but I haven't heard of the other two.
Open Range, you just have to get past the first 30 minutes because it is kind of slow.
I swear Open Range is an animated movie.
There was something like that. What is your third one?
My third one is what I have already discussed in our top favorite movies, and that is High Fidelity. It came out in, right here it says 2000. It's the internet, so it's definitely right. But it's a good movie. Like, it's a romantic comedy, but in a guy's perspective, it's meant for a guy. I love the books. I love the author of the book, Nick Hornby. He did, like, About a Boy, and forgot what else. I'm not very well read.
I don't know how to read, so I couldn't tell you.
It's basically about this older guy who breaks up. His girlfriend breaks up with him, and he's a owner of a record store, vinyl record store, and it's got Jack Black, John Cusack, and then two other people in there that I don't know their names. But I've always found it to be like one of my favorite movies, just because I just like this perspective of it being from a guy. I think it's funny. I think it's emotional. I think it's hilarious as shit. I know you think it's just okay.
Yeah.
But
it's pretty good.
I don't know how it did. But everyone I mentioned it to has never seen it, so I just figure it's not a very...
It's kind of like a cult movie, I think. It's pretty... It's got like a following, and it's pretty good. Like it... the whole thing, there's a theme where he talks about his top 5 women or something like that.
he has a thing. Trying to remember, I might get him confused with the book or the movie because things change. But he basically has a thing with top fives in general.
Yeah.
And the top 5 women
and then there's the whole sub theme of like the whole record store like lifestyle and stuff. It's I don't know. That's not really my thing, but it kind of like tells a story through that. That's like a kind of a mechanism of the movie.
It's also about like being a man and like learning to grow up and stop being you know childish and
it's
stupid.
Yeah.
Which I'm still there, but the movie's still good.
Yeah, it's and Tim Robbins is in it. He plays his character's pretty funny. He's like this hippie douchebag guy.
Yeah, pretty much anyone who is out protesting right now is we can think Tim Robbins' character was. He also has a great role in Tenacious D in The Pick of Destiny. But one thing that stands out the most in that movie, well, not really, but one thing, and you need to YouTube it, Jack Black singing Let's Get It On at the end, it's freaking amazing. He's one of the top vocalists, and he needs to do a serious album once in his lifetime. He
is very good, and I noticed, like, obviously the other major comedian singer is Weird Al Yankovic, and when he tries to sing, he's a good singer too. Like, these people are musically talented first, and then they also write funny lyrics. Yeah, I like that movie too.
It's a good movie.
We had one that we both...
Yeah, we both agree on as a movie that no one saw, and they're supposed to make a sequel. I don't know if that's been canceled or if they're still thinking about it. But MacGruber is hilarious.
Yeah, MacGruber. So a little background is I knew it was an SNL skit, and I didn't really watch SNL during that time, and definitely not now. But when it was coming out, I was like, that looks stupid, because I assumed it was going to be PG-13, because like all their SNL movies are PG-13, and all the comedies that came out that time were all PG-13 pretty much. And then I worked at the theater, and we were doing a test screening before we showed it to the public to make sure it's fine. So me and Thomas and our other friend Don, we watched it together, and I didn't expect anything from it. And I was just laughing the whole time. It's like really fun.
It's really stupid. I'm
really
not going to
dumb.
deny it's dumb, yeah, but it's hilarious.
And I did watch it recently. It's not as funny, but the first time I saw it, I was like hilarious.
I watched it again last year, and I still think it's funny. Just that the lines are so dumb.
They're so over the top.
The best scene is when he gets a license plate of that car, and then later on he's looking through the hits.
Yeah, that's pretty hilarious. Like the average person might not like this movie. It's kind of like you kind of had to like be around our age and be almost kind of a guy to like the movie, really.
Yeah. I think
one of the funniest things to me. Maybe you can throw it in here. If not, it's like the very end scene where he's getting married. That's like hilarious what he does to the bad guy. It's so funny. Like, it's hilarious.
There's just a lot of good scenes in there. It almost reminds me of an R-rated version of like Austin Powers. Almost, it's kind of the same.
Yeah,
type of humor.
It's very like
just
that.
A little bit more raunchier and vulgar, obviously, because it's rated R.
It may be one of those things I wasn't expecting anything, but it just turned out to be hilarious.
Yeah, it's really funny. I recommend that too.
So,
but you got to have an open mind about it and also a sense of humor.
Yeah, be in the right mood for it too.
So don't be liberal.
Yeah,
just kidding.
Basically. Anyways, you have any more?
That's it. So go see those movies. I don't know about his. His sounds pretty awful, but
I kind of have another one I just thought of, and I was thinking about this one earlier. And I don't know. I wasn't expecting anything from this movie. When I saw it, I really liked it. It was the first remake of The Hills Have Eyes. Did you see that one?
I did, but I saw it with an ex-girlfriend that had some issues with it, so it was a very awkward experience.
I don't know. I really liked that movie when I first saw it. It's like really dark, obviously. There's a lot of like bad stuff that happens in that movie, but I love movies where like the hero is getting like goes through hell throughout the whole movie, but at the end he like turns the tables and starts kicking ass. Especially when like the character's an unlikely ass kicker, and this movie has one of those. It's pretty cool. Like it's kind of like. You don't expect this guy to do the things he does. It's pretty cool. Like, the movie's obviously not great, but I like it. And
I really don't remember much about it.
Yeah, it's just really, really violent and really vulgar and really disgusting. That's why I like it.
So basically your lifestyle.
Basically, essentially.
Anyway, so that's it. If you have any movies that you think that we should see that we haven't seen.
Don't send them to us because we don't like you.
Yeah, that too. But no, for real, in the comments or whatever, tell us movies you think are underrated. Is that the topic?
Yeah.
Or no, movies you
probably
haven't seen. But whatever. We won't really pay attention to your comments or right back. Should probably turn this off too. Yeah, actually.
Stomp your hands, stomp your feet. Retardation can't be beat. I don't know why I just said that. But that's hilarious.
You know, I'm putting that.
I know. Abraham Lincoln was a good old man. Jumped out the window with the dick in his hand. Went to a lady, said, "I'm doing my duty. Now pull down your pants and give me some booty." I went to like ghetto public school. This is like none of that makes sense. Abraham Lincoln was a good old man. Okay, that makes sense. He jumped out the window with his dick in his hand. Why would he go out the window? There's doors. And he goes to a lady and sexually assaults her. Like, I mean, if she wants it, I guess it's okay, but... My 3 most underrated movies are Starship Troopers, Starship Troopers, and Starship Troopers. That was my favorite movie when I was 15. Had titties and massive gore. That's going on the next.